clever, resourceful man, Mr. Bond.
Well, thank you.
Perhaps too clever. Twice our paths have crossed. Let's leave it at that. I should think our first meeting would have convinced you.
Oh, I see. You're worried about me not giving you a return game.
Both of us know perfectly well what we are talking about, Mr. Bond. But I see that it is necessary to remind you. Our job. Many people have tried to involve themselves in my affairs, unsuccessfully.
Remarkable. But what does the club secretary have to say?
Oh, nothing, Mr. Bond. I own the club. I assume you want the check made out to cash.
That would be perfectly satisfactory.
Goodbye, Mr. Bond.
Oh, I believe this is yours.
Ba, 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 ba. Cue the the horn section. Oh my gosh. Welcome everybody. This is Book versus Movie, the podcast where we read books that have been adapted into movies and then we try to decide which we like better, the book or the movie. I am Margot P. of coloniabook.doc. It's a website, coloniabook.com. And this is my good friend and co-host, Margot D. or Brooklyn Fit Chick.
Hi, everyone.
How much have you been listening to Shirley Bassey this week?
I watched the Led Zeppelin documentary that came out, and Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones were in the studio for that recording in 1964. Before there was a Led Zeppelin, before there was a Yardbirds, they were studio musicians and they were in there. Yep.
That's amazing. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to the film. But by the way, I dropped a video. I just dropped a video in the Facebook group of Shirley Bassey this year singing Diamonds Are Forever at age 88, still blowing the roof off of the joint. We are talking about a lot of legends today on Book versus Movie. Once again, we are dipping into the rich well that is the James Bond franchise. And before we get to that, welcome. We are very glad that you're here. Yes, this is a podcast where we look at films that have been adapted from any kind of some kind of non-film source. You know, it might be a book as it is today, but it might also be a magazine article. It might be a song, a play, a novella, fiction, nonfiction, a poem. As long as there's some kind of original source that we can get our hands on, and as long as the film is streaming on a major platform, it is on the table and we will consider covering it. So if you have ideas for upcoming episodes, or if you're wondering if there's some favorite film adaptation of yours that we've covered in the past, there's a few places where you can see what we've done in our going on 11-year run of this podcast, meet other listeners, and interact with us on the internet.
You can find us on Facebook, Book vs Movie Podcast. That's just the basic Facebook page. Margot and I are much more interactive in our private Facebook group. It's Book vs Movie Podcast group, and you need to ask to join in order to join. And I dipped my toe in Facebook the other day, and there's a reason why we do that, because it's kind of messy out there. But we do keep it to just books and movies there, just so you know, and about the episodes we're working on. There are also 2 posts there. One is a list of shows we've covered in the past, and one is a list of ideas that people have for the future. So that's a good place to start. But we're also on Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And at all those places, you spell out book versus and movie. And then we have an old-timey email. That's a great way to reach us. It's book versus movie podcast, spelled it out, at gmail.com.
And if you really enjoy the show and would like to help keep us in books and movies, or if there's an old episode of ours from because, if you're listening to us on Spotify or iHeartRadio, the episodes only go so far back. And somebody yesterday was asking about our Jurassic Park episode.
Oh, wow.
And which is on our Patreon. So I dropped the link into the group so they could check that out. So yeah, you can also support us on Patreon, help us keep the lights on around here.
Absolutely. So as Margot said, so everything from 2022 and then previous to that, it's on our Patreon wall. Some of those episodes include Barefoot in the Park, Don't Bother to Knock, Yellow Submarine, National Lampoon's Vacation, The Boys in the Band, and The Spy Who Loved Me. Those are just some of the ones, if you pay to join our Patreon page, and the money is just for books and movies and just for the cost of keeping the show together. But as Margot said, there's some free stuff on there. So the old episodes are free on Patreon. You could check them out and say, hey, I think you probably should redo this one, because it would probably behoove you to do that. We also put all these clips that you're seeing today, we'll put them in our Patreon for free. We also put them on the Facebook group, but sometimes Facebook blocks a video for whatever reason. So we try to keep it available in both places.
So we've talked about, if you're brand new, you love Goldfinger, you're a diehard, you're like, Sean Connery is the only Bond for you. Welcome. But we've talked about, this is not going to be the first time we've talked about Ian Fleming, who perhaps is best known as the author of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but you would be surprised to know he also wrote some spy novels, Margot.
Yeah,
and we've covered a few of them. Just looking at the list here, we've done Casino Royale. Did we do Diamonds Are Forever? I don't remember.
No, we haven't done Diamonds Are Forever.
We've done The Spy Who Loved Me. By the way, don't bother reading that book. It's maybe the worst book I've ever read. It's one of the worst. But the movie's great. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Did we do For Your Eyes Only? Right?
No, it's on the list.
What's the other one? Didn't we do one of them that was?
One was George Lazenby.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's on Her Majesty's. Sorry, guys, we're not Bond experts. This is a time for us to tell you that we are not experts on books and movies. It's a hobby for us, and we kind of become mini experts as we go. But as we said, we've been doing this for 10 years, so sometimes the episodes get very, very. I was convinced like a couple of weeks ago. I told Margot we need to cover The Killers with Ava Gardner, and she's like, "We just did that last year." Like, oh my God, yes. So
I know, and I often think that we've covered something that we haven't covered, and then I go back and. Fortunately, we have a super fan, Thaddeus, in the Facebook group, and he keeps a very accurate list of what we actually have covered over the years. And I can always go and check his list. And yeah, sometimes I'm wrong. But let's talk about Ian Fleming. Just the broad strokes. We're not going to get into the whole thing because we've talked about him so many times. But there's some things you need to know about Ian Fleming.
He was born in Mayfair, London, England in 1908. He lived to be 56. I know that's rather young. He was kind of a heavy drinker.
Kind of a hard liver.
He was a hard liver. He did actually get to visit the set for the movie that we're talking about today. So he did get to see James Bond become movies. I think Goldfinger, and from everything I'm seeing, listening to from their Bond experts, like this is the movie that really set the standard for a Bond film. It's the one that is lampooned the most and honored the most, I think. But he worked in naval intelligence during the Second World War. He was very good friends with people like other writers like Roald Dahl, who were also, worked in espionage and also were writers. And he began this James Bond series. And what's very funny is that the James Bond from the books, and we've talked about this, the book Bonds are not nearly as fun as these movie Bonds. It's very funny how they managed to take these books that were very popular. I mean, President Kennedy was a huge fan of them. I read every single one of them. But when you read them, and maybe it could be just the time that we're looking at it 50 plus years hence, since they came out. But the book Bond was based on, I think, Audie Murphy, or it was based on
he looks like Hoagie Carmichael.
Thank you. That's
if you know what Hoagie Carmichael looks like. Hoagie Carmichael kind of looks like Lyle Lovett. I mean, that even may be too old and a reference for you.
That's still people going to be struggling with that.
He doesn't look like Daniel Craig or Sean Connery or Roger Moore, which put it that way.
And he was a guy that's a drinker, a very, very heavy drinker. And we'll talk about that with this chapter, like the first beginning of this novel, that Bond is like blitzed, I would think, constantly. He's not that tall. He's not that handsome. He's very smart, but he makes mistakes. And then there's a lot of Bond where he's like behind a desk and he's just doing his job. So Bond is kind of a working spy, and then these movies come out, and it's Sean Connery, and it's the director we'll talk about today. But yeah, he also did cover Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and Roald Dahl also covered the script for that, and that's our #1 episode for any show we've ever done. And Disney movies always do well for us. Marilyn Monroe does well for us, and Bond does well for Ian Fleming does well for us. People just have a big fascination with this work.
They're just fun. They're great fun. But you're right. There's a big difference between book Bond and movie Bond. Book Bond is, and the other thing that they talk about in the books that they don't, because the movies come a bit later than the book series. There's always a bit of a lag. I think in this case we have like a 10-year lag between when the book comes out and when the movie comes out ish. And one of the things about Bond in the books that you don't really get in the movie, and actually in this book they talk about it a bit, is that we're still dealing with Bond is very weary because like he's been spying since World War II. And so in the books, there's a lot of stuff like residual ennui stuff from World War II that he's kind of never really resolved. And like, and so he doesn't have the tools, like we would say today, to process like all the stuff that he saw and did in the war. And now he's in a completely different kind of war. He's in the Cold War. And in the books, there is this organization that almost never gets a mention in the movies, except very obliquely, called SMERSH. And SMERSH, remember SMERSH? SMERSH is like no, you do. But they never bring it up in the films ever directly. SMERSH is like an evil, it's like the Axis powers, but in the Cold War.
Okay.
So it's like the Soviets and the Chinese and like all the, it's the East versus West thing. And their SMERSH is always like trying to undermine the West and capture James Bond, and all of these villains that he deals with in the novels have some sort of affiliation with SMERSH. And sometimes he's really in the trenches with SMERSH and fighting them. And sometimes he's not. Like Goldfinger he's got some affiliation with SMERSH, but it's never completely kind of laid out for us in the book what it is. I would propose that in approaching this, that maybe we might do a mashup instead of going through the book and then going through, because the first part of the movie is the book. And it's pretty accurate to the book. And then it starts to go Hollywood on us. And then we get a lot of extra stuff that gets put in there. And, lots of fun plot holes to explore. And I just think it is so, but the first part of the movie is very, very true to the book. So let's talk about, I'm just glanced at my notes. I don't always jot down notes as I'm watching the film, but I had to grab a notebook and a pen, and I have two notes that just caught my eye. The first one says, terry cloth onesie shorts. And then I have another one that says, gas not deadly, pussy.
Well,
so we're going to spoil everything, everybody.
Right. We spoil the details and we're not experts. Those are two things to keep in mind. Yes. We're movie buffs. We're book buffs. This book comes out in 1959 and the movie comes out in 1964. This is the third Bond film. And, Bond in the novel is more of, like I said, he's rather morose. He's in Latin America or Mexico?
He's in Mexico. So our prologue, and this is true in the movie, although they don't hit you over the head with the details of where we are and what's going on. And that's one thing I will say about this Bond book. I like it, and I also don't like it. The Bond books. The Bond books are very inconsistent, in my opinion. We've read some, like Casino Royale is great. Casino Royale like is a real page churner, and I also like Her Majesty's Secret Service. I think that's a really great one. And then we've some of the other ones are just kind of up and down. With absolutely worst of the worst being The Spy Who Loved Me, like seriously unreadable. It's disgusting. Don't read it. But this one isn't as bad as that, but it has good moments. But after a while, I sort of felt like, I hate to say this, I sort of felt like he was trying to like, I must get 70,000 words. And so
It
he
feels
was doing,
like, yes, he was going for 70,000, and if he had done 40 or 50,000, it would have been much better. It's better as a novella, I think.
oh, much.
It would be so
Much.
much better because the germ of the ideas of everything he's doing
Are
is
good.
are great. I mean,
Yeah,
Goldfinger is a great villain. I mean, it's
agree.
really a fun villain, I think, for as far as the Bond villains are all fun, but this one is sort of, he has more of a sense of humor, and they kind of
Yeah.
play with each other a little bit. But the Bond in this story is he wants to steal all the gold in Fort Knox.
Yes. So we have our prologue, and again, like, in terms of like back to this whole 70,000
Yeah.
words thing, the prologue, which feels very tacked on, that's because it's tacked on. It was originally a short story that he'd written, and he just like slapped it into the beginning of Goldfinger. So we're in Mexico. It has like almost nothing to do with the actual story. He's in Mexico. He's breaking up a heroin smuggling ring, and he kills this heavy, drug runner guy who is identified only as the Mexican. Okay.
It's very racist.
Oh,
by
there's
the
a
way.
lot of
There's
racism in this.
A lot
Oh,
of
by the way.
racism. Yes.
This one is a heavy on the racism for sure.
Oh, Smirsh.
and-
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm looking at. Yeah. Wait.
So then we're in Miami, and in Miami, in the book, this is different than in the movie. And again, it's so lengthy. Like the descriptions of everything is just, ugh. So he's in Miami, and
The
he
golf.
runs.
There's a golf scene.
Yeah, but he runs into this guy that we know. He's like it's kind of like an extra in Casino Royale, Mr. DuPont. No relation to the Delaware DuPonts, but he just happens to also be called DuPont, and he's also a wealthy guy. And DuPont is like, "Oh, Bond, how awesome to run into you. Listen, can I hire you to do me a favor?" And Bond's like, "Sure. I could use an extra buck." And so Mr. DuPont hires James Bond to observe while he plays, it's like cribbage or something. He's playing cards with this guy who's at this resort, Mr. Goldfinger.
Right.
And he's mysterious. He's wealthy. Is he British? We're not sure. He seems like he is, but he also seems like he isn't. And
I think it's Canasta.
So yeah, it's like, it's not poker is what I'm saying. It's like, it's like a very kind of ordinary game. And anyway, Mr. Goldfinger is playing people at the resort, and he wins every single time. And he's just taking everybody's money. And he doesn't need their money. He's very wealthy. It's just for funsies for him. He likes separating people from their money. And Mr. DuPont is like, "I know he's cheating. I can't prove it. Mr. Bond, can you please just keep an eye on this and see if you can see if he's cheating?" And so James Bond very quickly figures out that Goldfinger, who, by the way, is named after he's named after an architect who was working in Britain at the time. And, after the war, after the Blitz, when they rebuilt Britain, there was a lot of rebuilding to do. And so people fought over, like, they had this opportunity, they saw it, to rebuild a newer, better, more modern London. And so you have these different schools of architecture that rise up, and one of them is called brutalism. And architects love it, and people who live in those buildings hate it. And one of these brutalist architects was Mr. Goldfinger, and he did not take kindly to being having the villain of this book named after him. And just to give you a little idea about Ian Fleming, Goldfinger, the real Goldfinger, threatens to sue Ian Fleming. Like, you
So
can't just.
it paused for a second.
Oh,
He
I'm
didn't
sorry.
take kindly to.
He didn't like having the villain of this story named after him.
Oh, okay, that's
And
good to know.
so he says to Ian Fleming, like, "Hey, I'm going to sue you. You got to, get my name out of your mouth, basically." And Ian Fleming, just to give you an idea of what kind of a character Ian Fleming is, Ian Fleming goes, "Okay, oh, that's fine. No, I will definitely. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the name of my villain, Goldfinger, to Gold Prick. And then I'm going to put a piece of paper in every single book and explain why I did that. That it was originally called Goldfinger, but I had to change it because you made me. And that's why he's now called Gold Prick." And Goldfinger was like, "Oh, fine. Okay, just call him Goldfinger." So Bond figures out that Goldfinger is getting a signal from somewhere in the resort. And turns out Goldfinger has like a personal secretary who, of course, is absolutely gorgeous. And she is watching the game with binoculars. It's very it's not very sophisticated. She's up in the
No.
room. She's watching with binoculars. And then she says into a microphone, like, "Oh, he's got a 10 of clubs." And Bond gets on the mic, stops the whole operation, gets on the microphone, tells Goldfinger, like, "Hey, you're going to pay Mr. DuPont back all of the money you owe him. And hey, you're going to give me some money too. And you're going to get out of here." And what happens is he leaves with this woman. What's her name?
Oh, Jill?
Jill Masterson.
Yes.
Yeah, Jill Masterson is the secretary. And so he leaves with Jill Masterson. Of course, they have sex.
She becomes his sex slave, right? He like takes her with him.
He takes her with him as like a sex hostage,
Right.
Mr. Bond. Yeah. Okay. And he I forget what the circumstances is, but basically he finds her dead. She's been painted all over in gold. She's been suffocated in gold. Now, here's the reason that we get this whole backstory in the book that we don't get in the movie, that we frankly we don't need, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. Here it is. I mean, this is what I mean about this book. Like, it goes to all these lengths. So we get this whole rigmarole about Jill Masterson says to Bond that Goldfinger is a bit of a pervy freak. I mean, not to kink shame, but his thing is he gets once a month, he pays a woman to have sex with him. But before he does that, he has her painted all over in gold because he's obsessed with gold, right? Everything has to be gold, like a certain somebody we know. Everything has to be gold. And so he has a woman once a month painted all over in gold, except for her spine. So they keep her spine unpainted because that way her skin, which is an organ, right? The skin can still breathe and she won't die. And so this is all, and he's like, "Oh, that's interesting." Like this whole thing, like we know this is going to come up. So sure enough, guess how Jill Masterson dies? She gets painted all over in gold, and including her spine, and she dies. And just like, so, but I love that in the film, we do away with all of this like stupid exposition about Mr. DuPont and the poker game and Casino Royale and the woman once a month. And first of all, it's like gross and, we don't need it. And you just have Bond, like Bond is a smart guy. He knows, oh, she suffocated, which I think that's not really a thing. Her mouth and nose aren't glued shut. She can open her mouth and her nose. She could still like actually breathe, right?
Yeah, no, it can. Yeah, it can. I mean, like, well, the actress is painted in gold. I mean, like in the movie, so it doesn't kill you. But I mean, it's not a good thing to do.
No, it looks really cool in the movie.
It looks great in the movie. I mean, but it's not healthy for your skin, but you can do it. But also, he has like a whole room full of porno magazines. I mean, it's a whole
gross thing. It's gross.
There's a whole scene where there's a golf game between Goldfinger and Bond. And in the movie, which is the clip we just showed you, which is just like, it's quick, and then you give it to Odd Job, and then he crushes the golf ball. You understand everything.
We get it.
In the book, it goes pages after
so
pages after, and
long.
it's so tedious. I just
like watching a golf game. If I want to watch a golf game, I'll watch a golf game. I do not need Ian Fleming to describe it blow by blow.
It's very tedious.
So long. It's very tedious. So, but so it's all of that is done so much better in the film, and also in the book. You know, you have that scene where Bond is strapped to the table. And no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. In the book, it's like a circular saw, very Batman.
Which makes sense.
And then in the movie, it's, you know, we have the technology to have it be a laser. So, and I'm sorry, we glossed right over Sean Connery's amazing. Well, let's talk about our cast of the film before we go any further, because it's pretty good.
Hold on, let me bring that up. No, we have Sean Connery. I'm sorry, it's taking me a minute to get back to.
So in 1964, our director is Guy Hamilton, right? Once again.
Who does a fantastic job, by the way.
It's very well directed, I will say. I do think that it is. Yeah.
Really well directed. I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring up my cast. We have Sean Connery as Bond, Honor Blackman as, so we have a girl, a woman in this movie who's a lead, and her name is Pussy Galore, and that is from the book. And it's from the book, and she's queer, by the way. And in the book, leads. Yes. Well, I think in the movie there's a point where she says hinting, like you could.
Yeah.
It's coded. It's coded.
It is coded. I mean,
she says she says to him, it's I'm immune to this, and I think like that's just what it's supposed to be. And they're called the Cement Mixers. It's a group of lesbians.
Yeah. So
this book.
This is I know. Let's go through the cast.
Gert Frobe as Orlick Goldfinger, who's fantastic. He's a German actor. He showed up, and when he first got the role, and he meets Sean Connery. It's just sort of an informal event. He goes, "Hello, it's very nice to meet you." And Sean Connery started talking to him, and then they realized, oh, he really can't speak English. So they hired an actor named Michael Collins, and Michael Collins is the voice that you hear. And this happened all the time in the movies.
Yeah, this is true.
He is dubbed.
He's very good. It's still a good performance.
You can't. Is Odd Job. He is a Japanese actor. He's playing a Korean villain. Bernard Lee as M is they really just fantastic. Martin Benson as Mr. Solo. Sec Linder, I think it's Sec. It's CEC as Felix. There's a different Felix in all the movies for some reason. Yeah. There's Austin Willis as Mr. Simmons. I mean, Lois Maxwell as Miss Moneypenny in a bunch of the movies. It's Q is Desmond Llewellyn, and I loved Q in this movie. I mean, we have the obligatory all the gadgets.
Yeah, we have the obligatory scene where they're making the gadgets. None of that is in the book, by the way. You would think he would have put that in the book since he was trying to meet his 70,000 words. But it's still fun. You know, we see the car, the Aston Martin, and Miss Moneypenny, and all that's really fun.
Right. So those are our main people.
So
should we
the trailer?
Play?
Yeah, let's play the trailer.
Stop. Look. He's gunning for trouble. 007. It spells Bond.
Shocking.
He's the idol of every woman.
Who are you?
Bond. James Bond.
The envy of every man. The nemesis of the treacherous Mr. Goldfinger.
The man with the mind.
A three-time winner for Fleming Secret Agent 007.
Who are you?
My name is Pussy Galore.
Isn't it customary to grant the condemned man his last request?
You've asked for this.
Come and purr over Honor Blackman as Pussy Galore. The female who is all feline. Also starring Gert Frober as Goldfinger. International cheat. International menace.
Gentlemen! Goldfinger, why weren't we told the New York and the West Coast were in on this?
Goldfinger, I made a delivery. Where is my money?
And you owe me $1 million.
Goldfinger, the man with a finger in every pie. His goal, Fort Knox, the world's biggest bank. His enemy, 007, the world's wiliest, toughest gentleman agent with a license to kill. 007, it spells Bond. James Bond, mixing business with girls and thrills. Girls and fun. Girls and danger. The hotter the danger, the cooler he takes it.
I think you've made your point, Goldfinger. Thank you for the demonstration. Choose your next witticism carefully, Mr. Bond. It may be your last. Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Who wouldn't want to see this movie?
It's a great trailer.
It's
and
fantastic.
one of the things I hadn't noticed until just now that I think is so smart. Shirley Bassey's song is not in this trailer. So when you see the trailer and you go to the movies to watch the film, that song, like when it comes in, oh, it must have been very exciting.
It is a very exciting song. She's super talented.
Oh, okay. So where to begin? I have I'm looking at my notes. It says destabilize the US by making our gold radioactive. That's cute. Try gutting Medicare.
Yeah.
So here's the plot, such as it is in the book and the movie. It's basically the same plot, just the way that the players are in there are a little bit different. We have this guy, Goldfinger, who claims to be British by way of Jamaica. So he has this, like, is he like an import-export guy? But also he seems to have ties to Smersh. Which are it's very vague, the reference in the film. In the book, it's a little more direct. So, where he gets his money from is a little bit strange, but more than that, the guy is a kinky freak. He is obsessed with gold.
He has gold underwear.
Everything is gold.
Everything is gold.
The women he sleeps with are painted with gold, as we just said. And he has this old Rolls Royce, antique Rolls Royce that is entirely lined with gold, and gold is super heavy. So his Rolls Royce in the book, and we go into great detail about how he had to re-engineer the Rolls Royce to hold the weight of all the gold. And oh my gosh, it's so detailed. We really don't care. It's fine. He likes gold. And so he's formulating this plot called Operation Grand Slam, and Bond is trying to get to the bottom of it. That poor woman is dead. The woman from the hotel, Jill Masterson, has died. He also feels kind of guilty about that. Not too guilty because he's James Bond.
Right.
Women just get killed. Why would any woman get involved with James Bond?
Well, she didn't mean to. She was involved with Goldfinger, but I have to say, like James Bond with Connery as James Bond, he's very, he's very roguish. He comes in, he goes for her, he goes for the kiss right away. He always gets consent. When she dies, he finds her and it's a very iconic scene of her,
it's a great scene.
His face changes and he's very upset. Like, he didn't want her to die. He liked her. I mean, it's just for a second he realizes, like, oh, I'm really dealing with a monster here.
Yeah.
And this is like, he is a fantastic actor. And I was looking at some old clips of him when they were doing from the set, and all these reporters were asking him about what he thought of the Bond books. And he goes, well, I read this one and that one, but I didn't read Goldfinger. And they said, really? He goes, nah, I get the idea of what he's going for. But so he and the director just came up with these ideas of like, this is what Bond should be. This is shorthand what Bond should be. He should be Bond, James Bond, shaken, not stirred. He should have an Aston Martin.
That's all the movie. Yeah.
That's all the movie. And it's basically the director. And it's also Connery really gave a lot of these ideas of like, this is what's going to work. This is what would sway me. I'm your audience, basically.
There's this scene early on, just to give you an idea. There's a scene, maybe it's at the prologue, where he's sneaking into this place. I think it might be the prologue. And it's dark. So he's wearing these dark coveralls, and he does the deed and kills the guy and gets the information. And then he takes off his dark coveralls that are all dirty now. And underneath, he is wearing an immaculate white dinner jacket, not a single crease. Whips a red rose out of the pocket of the overalls and tucks it into the lapel of this absolutely perfectly pressed white jacket that he presumably has been climbing walls, doing somersaults. He is never wrinkled. And for all of his stunts, he never gets wrinkled.
One of the YouTube clips, and I wish I could give the person credit, but one of them said that Archer is really more like the original Bond than the Bond from the movies, because he's like the heavy drinker. But they do have those touches in there that like he always looks great. But that's what he wants you to like. This is what makes you want to go to a movie. I want to see somebody gorgeous. Like, of course, I want him in a tux underneath and not a crease. Absolutely, it's a movie.
And listen, that the little Terry onesie shorts are a bold choice, but you can't argue with success.
He looks great in everything. That's another part of it. He could wear anything. He literally can wear anything. And there's a movie called Zod or something where Zolt. It's a Z sound that Sean Connery. It's one of those famous stinkers, but he's in like a caveman kind of outfit, and he looks great.
He's James Bond.
I mean,
so Mr. Goldfinger, as we've established, is a lunatic, and his plan is. Well, what he says his plan is in the book and in the film. So again, the whole first part of the film is basically what's in the book, but told better, leaner, faster. He's assembling a bunch of American crime family heads at his place. He has a place in the United States and in Kentucky. He's raising horses. That's his front. And he invites them all in, and he's like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to steal all of the gold in Fort Knox. And all of them but one is like, yeah, great. Thanks, Goldfinger. This is awesome. One of them is like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not doing that. And Goldfinger's like, no worries. Fine. In the book, he just kind of does what you would do. He quietly kind of kills him in another room and then comes back and says to the people who are still there, like, oh, hey, so the guy that said no, yeah, he's not around anymore. So, just so you know, we're all in this now, basically. And this is where the movie really departs from the book. So in the film, Goldfinger somehow at his ranch in Kentucky has constructed this vast rec room with everything's automated. And first he automatically shuts the lights and draws the blackout drapes. And already the gangsters are like, what? Hey, listen.
I know. They all talk at once. Like a Family Guy or something. It's just.
And here's the thing. So, I mean, here's where we start with the plot hole. So this huge screen comes down and he's showing you an aerial view of Fort Knox or something like that. And then the floor opens up and this giant, it must have taken like 3 years, this absolutely perfectly true, just in scale replica of Fort Knox with the fences and the shrubs and the whole thing, totally unnecessary. Maybe we're showing like this is just showing us that he's not somebody with a grip on reality, but it seems a little like
Excessive.
you just literally pulled down a projection screen. You could have all had this like as a animated deal. Like we didn't need to have the floor open up.
Supposedly at Fort Knox, they kept that. They have that.
They
prop.
should. It's cool looking.
It's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James Bond, of course, is like eavesdropping on the monologuing. It's next level. So what he tells them is, here's the plan, is I have this, we're going to kind of cover the atmosphere around Fort Knox, all the military base, all the military guards there are going to be sprayed with,
Yes.
or they're going to be, in the book, it's a little bit different, but yeah, basically we're going to put them to sleep for a little while. And then we sneak in, steal the gold, and then we leave, and everybody's rich. And in the book, Pussy Galore is one of those crime heads. She doesn't work for Goldfinger in the book. She, as Margot says, bear with us, she is the leader of a gang of criminal lesbian acrobats.
Yes.
It's fine. It's fine.
Cement mixers. That's what they're called.
The cement.
I loved that name. I was like, that's a great band name. I don't know. Yeah.
So, she's one of them that's part of this plot. Now, okay, I have to mention this because it is gross. This just to give you an idea of like. So in the book, as I recall. Oh, so we also have Jill Masterson, the girl who died being painted gold. She has the sister, Tilly, who looks just like her. And James Bond, just like in the film, James Bond runs into Tilly, who is also spying on Goldfinger, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "No, it's not. I'm not Jill. I'm her sister Tilly. I'm out for revenge because he killed my sister." I don't know how she knows that, but okay, fine. Tilly is also a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
But James Bond has magic in his pants.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of that. He has magic pants. And what's in them can turn any lady, any lesbian lady into a no longer lesbian lady. So he has a thing. I think he has a thing with both. But Tilly has a thing for Pussy Galore, is what I'm saying. And she sort of is trying to turn, she's really the one who sort of in the book is trying to turn Pussy Galore over to the good side. Whereas in the movie, like, that's not really a factor. Eventually, Tilly also gets killed by Goldfinger in Odd Job. So in the movie, Pussy Galore is not a gang leader. She is Goldfinger's personal pilot. Mm-hmm. And her gang, quote unquote, is a group of very hot blonde aviatrixes.
We have a clip.
We have a clip.
Yes.
Here it is.
Well, dress rehearsal went like a dream, Skipper. Good. You'll get your final briefing tonight. That'll be all for now.
I'm suddenly forgetting in the morass of the book. Is Pussy Galore the one that, like, she tells the story about her uncle?
Yes, that's why she. Ugh. So, yeah, in the book also, once again, I mean, and there should be like an essay warning because in the book, she says it's because my uncle. I'll be sorry, trigger word, but her uncle molested her, and that's why she's a lesbian. Which is what people thought. Like, there must have been something damaged.
A man must have done something to you so that you don't want to have anything to do with it.
And to gay men, this was also like, someone must have done that to you. That's why you are the way you are. And it's like, No, she is who she is because in the movie, she very coldly tells James, like, she always has a gun on him, and I love her. She's like totally.
I really like her in the film a lot. She's such a better character in the movie than in the book. Yeah, really good.
The best Bond woman. She's really, really strong. But she even says, like, I'm immune to whatever you're doing because she's a lesbian. In the movie, there's a scene where they're wrestling and he overpowers her, and then all of a sudden they make out, and then we're supposed to understand that then now she's also like, because of what he has, she's now
because he has magic pants.
He has magic. Let's just say magic pants. We're a family show here, so yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's very outdated. It's not what we would do now, but this was just sort of like, it was of the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and also compared to the book, the movie is way less racist. I mean, it's racist.
Yeah.
Racist and sexist and misogynistic, but compared to the book, it is extremely tame.
Right.
So in the film, then, so now we have, instead of, again, so the way that the whole plot kind of gets carried out, we learn that it was never so he gasses all of these crime. I don't know. So we're to understand that he uses all of these crime families to get the information he needs to kind of set up this whole operation. And then he kills them all. He kills them all right there. He gasses them, and they are now dead.
Which is a lot to clean up.
He's very messy, Goldfinger. There's also this whole sequence. So instead of just like doing what you would do, he just, like, the guy that doesn't want to participate in the book, he, like I said, he just gets taken out of the room and killed, and then Goldfinger comes back and is like, hey, I just killed that guy, so if anybody else is thinking of leaving, think twice. In the movie, he goes through this whole rigmarole of, he says to the guy, like, oh, well, I respect your decision. Okay, here's your gold back. And he gives him like a suitcase of gold bars that Oddjob puts in the trunk of the guy's car. The guy's car does not like sink at all under the weight of a suitcase full of gold bars. Okay, fine. Then Oddjob is supposed to be driving him like to the airport, but instead Oddjob drives him in broad daylight, they pull over off the road. He shoots him dead again in broad daylight on a road, and then drives the car to a junkyard where we're to presume the car with the man and the gold inside of it gets crushed into a cube. And then Oddjob shows up with the truck and brings the cube back to Goldfinger so they can unmash the cube and extract the gold. Why did he not take the gold out of the car before he mashed it into a cube? And also, when the car gets put into the masher, you have a very long, clear view of the back seat where the corpse of this man, and it's empty.
Right.
He's not in there.
Where did he go?
You can fully see he's not in there. The door, the trunk opens up. Like, he can't move the body from the car into the trunk. It is broad daylight. So it's just
the first.
You were looking at the back seat for a long time, is what I'm saying.
The first half of the movie is very sharp and very quick, and I think the second half drags. I mean,
it's very messy.
It goes on and on because we're driving in the car all the way to the thing.
It's a long drive.
And when they put the movie together and showed it to the studio, they were hoping to get another week. They were asking for another week because they wanted more time to edit. But the movie studio was like, "This is perfect. Let's just send it now."
It could have used a little more trimming.
It could have used like 15 minutes or so off of it. Yeah.
So, okay, with the now you're going to open up this cube of corpse and guts and gold. All right, I guess. Again, maybe we're chalking it up to showing this is how not attached to reality Mr. Goldfinger is. Okay, fine. So now we are going to have the big Operation Grand Slam. And we've since learned that was never the plan, was never to steal the gold. Gold is heavy. We don't have enough time to steal the gold. And also that gas that Mr. Goldfinger says he's going to use is not just put them to sleep time. It's kill people. So the Goldfinger is going to kill however many troops are guarding Fort Knox. He's going to gas them, and his plan was never to take the gold. His plan was to set off a nuclear device inside Fort Knox, which would then radioactivate the gold. So the gold is now radioactive and the US can't use it. So it's no longer, it's worthless. So that's how it's going to destabilize our economy. Little did he know, like, all you need to do is just some gerrymandering and
also,
and bill.
it's not even like literal goals that we're talking about. It's the money attached to
that's not how we
the value of the gold. Right. So it's not even like, right. It makes no sense.
And also, but the upshot of all of this is then the gold that Goldfinger does own now becomes much more valuable. So that's the whole point, is for his own gold to be way more valuable and the U.S. to be a little less stable. And it's very exciting in the film. Like, we're in Fort Knox, there's gold, and like people are shooting each other and running around, and that's fine. We also have, like, this is weird. So Pussy Galore, thanks to James Bond's Magic Pants, is now one of the good ones. And then, but you, the audience, what you see is her pilots go up in the air and start gassing people. And you're like, what? I thought she was one of the good ones. You see all of these troops, and I'm sorry, it's not very well acted. All of these
people that faint and die. And it's over and
people
over
playing troops
and over again.
It's like a very long sequence of a bunch of men in uniform, like standing there, and then they're like,
and if they
fall
made
over.
it quicker and tighter, you wouldn't notice.
Exactly, you wouldn't notice how bad. Like, that one guy's moving. And so we, the audience, are supposed to be believing that this is gas that they're dying. We're supposed to believe that this is fatal gas. It turns out it's not. It is the sleepy time gas. But my point is, you see Pussy Galore's team of pilots gassing all of these people, and the planes are weaving over and around each other. They're doing like acrobatics in the air with the planes as they're gassing all the people below, all around each other. The planes are flying all around each other, pouring out this poisonous gas that puts people to sleep. These women are not wearing gas masks.
No.
They're not in like airtight planes.
No.
But somehow they're not affected by this gas in any way. They're fine. It's fine. We're not worrying about it. So Goldfinger gets away. In the movie, James Bond kills Oddjob inside Fort Knox and then follows Goldfinger onto Goldfinger's plane. They have a fight.
Right.
James Bond shoots one of the airplane windows, and Goldfinger gets sucked out of the window, and James Bond and Pussy Galore land the plane, or they parachute out of the plane, and happily ever after. In the book, they are on the plane, but it's Goldfinger and Oddjob are both on the plane. Oddjob is the one that gets sucked out of the window, not Goldfinger. So we have the same trick. The window gets shot. Oddjob gets sucked out the window. And then we have this long scene where James Bond punches and then just strangles the life out of Goldfinger.
Right.
The end. So yeah.
It starts off really well. I'll say this. And once again, if they took a good 15 minutes out of this movie,
it just needed a tighter edit.
It would have been so much tighter, and we wouldn't be picking this stuff. But they do kind of, everything in Kentucky gets really dragged out.
Way too long.
It's
way too long.
So much more. Yeah, the first half when they're in Europe, which is beautiful with the cars. I mean, the car sequence is like incredible.
That's a great sequence. And yeah, it just needs a tighter edit, really. The backdrops, gorgeous. I love Kentucky as a backdrop. Like, it's cool. Yeah. They make it look really beautiful. Goldfinger's house is amazing. All of the stuff in Europe is so great. And of course, we go the whole thing of like going to the MI headquarters, and all of that scene is really great. And the costumes, I mean, the onesie is a choice. And he's in it for like a long time. And they are very, very short shorts. They leave very little to the imagination.
It's 1964, Margot.
1964.
The Beatles are popular, bikinis, everything's changed.
And it's all really, I love Pussy Galore. Every outfit Pussy Galore's like,
she's
love,
so
love. And I love all of Goldfinger's outfits. They're all really good. The lighting is good. And the score is excellent. When you get through that first cold open where he kills the Mexican, and then that song comes in over the opening credits, it might be my favorite Bond. It's a tie for me between this one and Diamonds Are Forever. I think those are my two favorite Bond themes.
I think I like The Spy Who Loved Me. The beginning of Spy Who Loved Me is the Union Jack
I love that
parachute.
film.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a great one. But Shirley Bassey's like explosive vocals and then the callback of it throughout the film in the score, I think is really well done. Yeah, it's just too messy with the edit is all. It needed a little more time in the edit. I was watching a thing about the recording of that song, Shirley Bassey talking about it, and she was saying that so when she records it, as you were saying, who was in it from? It was
Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones.
That's amazing.
And that's how they became friends, by the way. And then a few years later, John Paul Jones was like looking for a gig, and Jimmy Page just happened to be putting together Led Zeppelin and says, "Oh, do you need a bassist?" And he goes, "Yeah, actually, I need a bassist. I have I have a vocalist, I have a drummer. Do you want to join?" And he immediately joined.
So Shirley Bassey, they bring her in to record this song. Oh, first of all, they play her this song. When she said when she first hears it, she and her manager, I forget who the composer is of Goldfinger. Right off the top of my
I had
head.
it in the notes.
So they're invited over to his house. John Barry. They're invited over to his house, and he's like, "Okay, I'm working on the song for Goldfinger. We don't really have the lyrics yet, but it's going to go like this." And he plays the first three notes. Da da da, and Shirley Bassey and her manager both go, Moon River, da da da, because it's the same exact notes as Moon River, which was a hit right at this moment when John Barry's writing this song, and John Barry's like, "Oh," and so, but then when they bring her in to record it, like I would encourage you, instead of reading the book, read the lyrics to the song Goldfinger. They are silly, but the orchestration and Shirley Bassey is selling
Should
me.
We play Shirley Bassey?
Yes, but I just want to set up that they bring her in to record it. They've got an orchestra of 80 plus musicians in the room. It must have been incredible. And she said she's recording, as they often do when they score a film, they're showing these opening credits.
Wow.
As they're playing, so they could be playing in time, adding little flourishes that go along with the action and stuff like that. And so they told Shirley, when you get to the end and you're like, "He loves gold, he loves gold." She's like, they say, "Just keep singing till the end of the credits." And she's like, "Okay, great." So she's singing. And if you've ever heard this song, at the end, she's like, "He loves gold, he loves gold." And she's looking at the thing, and it's not ending. Like the credits are going on and on. She's like, "Only gold." and then she's like, okay. So she finishes on that famous high note, and she's like, "He loves gold," and she's holding this high note, and she's watching these credits, and they're not ending. And the director's like, "Keep holding it, keep holding that note." And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna pass out." And so that's why it just sounds like she's singing to. She is the one who's like adding all of this it is amazing. And every time she performs this song, this extremely silly song, I get goosebumps. Ladies and gentlemen, Shirley Bassey, let's go.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch. is light skinned, disguise what you fear. Poor golden girl knows when he's kissed her. It's a kiss of death from Mr. Goldfinger.
That's 1974 at the Royal Albert Hall. I mean, what's better than that?
Shirley Bassey is Welsh.
Yes.
And I always, when I hear Shirley Bassey, to me, like I hear that, like I don't know what it is about the Welsh. There's this, just the like gravitas and the power, and yet she brings it up, she brings it down, and very much like the other famous Welsh singer Tom Jones.
I was just gonna say, is Tom Jones from Wales?
He is, and
Yeah.
he is the singer of the next Bond film in the series, Thunderball. And I mean, just what? And she has no idea what this film is about. And look at her go.
Yeah.
Just amazing. I freaking love that woman. And Diamonds Are Forever is a wonderful song. She's so good. She's so good. That's why this Bond film, I think everybody talks about so much. It is the one where all of the elements kind of come together. Not that the themes in the other previous films aren't great. Bonds, they're always a good theme, almost always, with very few exceptions.
Right.
It's always going to be a great theme. It's always going to be a good score. But this is definitely the one that people kind of quote the most, like the way that the song just like blasts at you out of the darkness. I'm sure people were just like jumped in their seats. And the whole, like, all the quotable lines, like he electrocutes the guy and he's like, shocking. And, like all of the quotable lines.
I expect you to die, Mr. Bond. I mean, what's better than that? I'm sorry.
It's very, very fun. And it is that it's the films. The thing about the films is it does bring that element of campiness. They're later than the books, so the technology is a little bit farther along than they are in the books, which is cool because the books are still full of the gadgets and all of that, and some of the witty repartee, but not like in the movies. Movies, they really, really crank it up.
Yeah, it's nowhere near that. In the movies, that's why they're memorable.
Yeah. So, book or
versus
movie?
Movie, of course.
Hands down, movie.
Yeah.
So fun, so much fun. I forgot how much I enjoyed this film, even though, like I said, it does drag a bit in Kentucky, and it does get a little bit messy, but it's still super fun. Yeah, like for instance, this is another like weird plot hole, but when Goldfinger, oh my gosh, this movie. So as I say, Goldfinger has the whole scene where he's monologuing about the evil plan with the model that comes up out of the floor and the screen, the projection. James Bond, super spy with access to all of the gadgets and gizmos that can come from the imagination of Q. He's eavesdropping on the plan. And what does he reach for? A pencil and a scrap of paper. Okay. And he writes it down. Like, oh, let me get this down. He writes down the plan and he wraps it around a transmitter that he knows that the CIA is locked in on, that they can trace it. Right. So he wraps his note about the plan. Like they have the technology he could have been transmitting the whole thing straight from, but okay, he's writing on it with a pencil. He wraps it around the transmitter and then he tucks it into the pocket of a guy that ends up in the cube. So that goes nowhere. But in the book, what happens?
Sorry.
I said he puts the transmitter into the pocket of the guy that gets smashed in the cube.
Okay.
So it doesn't go anywhere. It's a whole plot thing that doesn't go anywhere. In the book, he does write. He also writes a note, and he hides it in the toilet. of Goldfinger's plane. And the
he
note,
hides it in the toll. Right, that's right. Oh God,
remember?
I forgot about that.
And the note says something like, make sure, like, you will get a reward if you turn this into the CIA. And like a janitor finds it, and that's how the CIA gets tipped off to Goldfinger's in the book. So it's like, so it's much more style. Everything is, the style is way cranked up in this film. So yeah, definitely the movie. I don't know that I would recommend reading the book. I didn't find, like, all the good stuff from the book is in the film.
I listened to the audiobook, and it was very tiresome. Yeah.
So
read Casino Royale. I mean, it is a good intro. Yeah.
Yes. That's a fun one. So that was super fun. Very much enjoyed the whole, always enjoy revisiting James Bond. We're doing something a little different next week. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to be, this is a little different. I believe this is on our Patreon wall. So we're going to be talking about Saturday Night Fever next. It is based on a magazine article from Nick Cohn, New York Magazine. The article comes out in 1976. The movie Saturday Night Fever comes out in 1977. We did a whole, like I said, it's on our Patreon one. We've covered it in the past. The thing is I've written a book about Saturday Night Fever, and it's called Fever, A Complete History of Saturday Night Fever. It's coming out at the end of August. So Margot is going away at the end of the week. She's going away for a vacation. Her birthday's coming up. So we decided that we're going to talk about my book, and we're going to talk about how the article became a movie. And I interviewed over 70 people about Saturday Night Fever. I've got the tea, I got the goss, I got the behind the scenes, like, that's never been out before. And I cannot wait to talk about it. So Margot's going to interview me, basically, and we're going to play clips. And I hope you enjoy it. And the book is available on pre-order right now. I think there's going to be an audiobook as well.
That's
Kindle.
so exciting. Yay!
So
I'm very excited to interview my friend about this book that I have been waiting to get my hands on, and also to talk about, not just because we did talk about some of it when we talked about the episode originally, however long ago that was, but also how the ripple effect of this film, as it went on in the culture. The dancing, is something that really changed things for quite a while in our culture. Things became very dancey there for a minute, and we'll talk about all of that. I'm very, very excited. So, tell people where they can find you and find out about this book online.
Well, I'm at Brooklyn Fit Chick. I'm on Threads and Instagram at Brooklyn Fit Chick. I'm at Brooklyn Margot for Blue Sky and TikTok. And my YouTube is, if you're watching this now, maybe you are watching mine, maybe you're watching Margot's, but it's at my name, Margot Donahue. It's Penguin, Kensington, Citadel. It's, the publishing houses have all been there, but it's available for pre-order right now, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm really excited. So thank you. I can't wait to talk about it with y'all, and we're going to have a good time talking about it.
I'm very, very excited. It's going to be super fun. So please don't miss it. You can find me online at coloniabook.com. All my social media call-outs are at She's Nacho Mama. And get your boogie shoes. Go get you a couple of cans of paint so you can just walk down the street, swinging them along as you go, because we're going to be talking about Saturday Night Fever next, y'all. But what should we do for our outro here? How about?
I think you must you die, Mr. Pagand.
Yeah, let's end it with some classic dialogue from this film. Bye, everybody.
This is gold, Mr. Bond. All my life I've been in love with its color, its brilliance, its divine heaviness. I welcome any enterprise that will increase my stock, which is considerable.
I think you've made your point, Goldfinger. Thank you for the demonstration.
Choose your next witticism carefully, Mr. Bond. It may be your last. The purpose of our two previous encounters is now very clear to me. I do not intend to be distracted by another. Good night, Mr. Bond.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. There is nothing you can talk to me about that I don't already know.